So let's go ahead and not beat around the bush anymore. We're going to start with our weekly topic this week, which is what was the best return of all the time, the biggest return of all the time. As you can see, Edge is right here on the graphic, so uh, I'm going to let it bounce around here for a minute to see what everybody else's take is, and then I'm going to put my 2 cents in. And Mike Loving, if you can hear us, buddy, since you're our guest, I'm going to let you put yours out there first. What was the biggest return of all time?
Biggest return of all time, in my opinion, would have to be the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 8. Against the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 8, Psycho Sid versus Hulk Hogan. Everybody was built up around that matchup. No one thought that he would return. It was a total surprise, total shocking return. And the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 8 is my pick for the biggest return ever.
Well, that was a pretty big return. It's not on my short list, but I could see how someone could say that's the biggest return of all time. I can see that. Ramblers, chime in. Give us your opinion after we bounce around the table here. I want to get your guys' opinion as well. So, yeah. John, I'll go ahead and go to you next. Do you agree with old Big Head Loving over here?
I think it's a good pick, but it wouldn't be my top pick. For me, I got to go. There's so many I could go down, and well, I'm sure some of you guys will hit on them tonight, but I got to go with Brock Lesnar the night after WrestleMania when he came back, when John Cena was in the ring trying to get The Rock to come back out. I think it was right after WrestleMania 29, if I remember correctly. And boy, there was rumblings, but nobody ever expected after he left Brock Lesnar coming back. And I listened to it. I watched it last night just because I was going over a few ones just to kind of make my mind up. And when you hear that crowd pop, that ovation when he comes out, and it was something special, and probably to me was the biggest return of all time.
That was pretty big. That one is on my short list, but that's not my pick.
All right.
Um, but like I said, just like with Mike's, I can't really argue that because this is a matter of opinion. You know, as a fan, there were things that struck each of us differently at different times in our life, and yeah, I'm not going to say anymore because then I'll end up giving away my pick. But that's a good one. Sonny, is that your pick, or do you have something else in mind?
That was on my short list as well. But I'm going to go a little bit different here. And it's not WWE return.
Oh, God, please tell me it's not
But
Impact.
it's not. It's not. Chris Jericho returning to the Indies and doing the All Out show or the All In, whatever one that was. No one ever thought that he would wrestle for another promotion in North America other than WWE. And coming in dressed up as Pentagon Jr., oh my God, it was awesome.
And a lot of people don't realize what Jericho had to do to make that event. His band was playing across the country that same night. Tony Khan, this was before AEW, but Tony Khan flew Chris Jericho in to do that spot. As soon as he was done, he got back on the jet and left. And that's badass if you ask me.
Right? But I think, too, when you look at Chris Jericho's career, like even when he debuted in WWE, it was a big pop. When he came back all those years later, it was another big pop. I think he would be someone who would rank for one of the greatest returns a couple times.
Sure.
So
yeah, you're absolutely right. That's part of the reason why I say Chris Jericho is the GOAT. Hopefully he starts making some better decisions with his booking in AEW because I'm not really. I mean, I know he's kind of in the phase of putting everybody else over at the moment, but there's some stuff that's. I'm like, a mimosa match? Really? What the hell are we doing here, Jericho? All right, that's all great picks. Tommy, as you noticed, I saved you for the end here because last week you came out with some bullshit talking about Daphne was the best female valet, or actually that was 2 weeks ago. See, that's how bad.
That's 2 weeks
That's how
ago.
the hell you had me, Tommy.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks
What was
ago.
up with that pick last week?
Last week was a crossface chicken wing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't hate
But
on that one. That was a good one.
Yep.
But you talk about Daphne, which was my high school crush. You know, yeah.
We're not going to go down that road again, Tommy. Who
All right.
is? What was the biggest return of all time, old buddy?
All right, February 1993. It is right after Ric Flair lost to Mr. Perfect and comes back to WCW to have the feud with Barry Windham for the NWA title.
So your biggest return of all time was when Flair left the WWE and went back to WCW?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to say to that, Tommy.
That was a long time ago, Tommy.
Sure, it was a long time ago, and there's some of the old heads out there in the world might agree with you, but that wasn't on my long list. I'm saying that right now.
That's what you get from a Rays fan.
All right,
Hey, I'm no longer with the Rays.
Yeah, we're not gonna bring baseball into this, Mike. Actually, we are. Since you went ahead and went there, who's your favorite team, Mike?
Cleveland Indians.
Oh, you're an idiot. What about you, John?
I'm a New York Mets fan all the way, die hard.
New York. Sonny, do you guys got
It's the
baseball?
only New York team that I like, actually.
We have the Blue Jays, but I don't like them.
Do you like the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I got the Blue
I
Jays.
like the Expos better.
Oh yeah,
but they're long gone.
Yeah, I remember.
Hey,
them.
Yeah.
Of course, last year, Tampa was talking about going up and playing half a season in Montreal. I was kind of scared, but luckily my contract's expired. Don't have to worry about that anymore. So,
yeah, you got a name yet, by the way?
No.
Wow.
The Princeton Do-Gooders. That's what we're gonna call you.
Yeah. There you go.
Just since you guys asked, my favorite team is the Braves. So we're all on different pages there. And we're all on different pages in the greatest return of all time, biggest return of all time. There was a couple different ways I could have went with this. Edge, that was in the graphic. That was that almost was my pick just because nobody's seen it coming. And actually, I'll take that back because months prior he speared somebody. I can't remember if it was Corbin or it was somebody. He was in the ring and he come out and did a thing and speared him, and then fast forward a couple months later, here he is in the Royal Rumble. But I didn't go with him. I didn't go with Daniel Bryan. Me personally, I went with Shawn Michaels because that was my guy. And whenever he got took out, I don't know who's having the nasal problems. I don't know if it's you, Mike Loving, or what, but somebody's breathing through their nose pretty hardcore right now. But it's honestly driving me freaking nuts. But anyway, Shawn Michaels, after he got beat by Stone Cold and he had to have the back surgery and left wrestling for, I can't remember how long it was, like 6 or 8 years or something. And then come back as the Dutch boy. I hated his outfit and his haircut when he come back, but it was just him coming back was like, wow, that's amazing. That's my pick.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go ahead and go to the chat here and get a couple of people real quick. Jason Heiser says Edge or the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys was big. Edge was big.
That Hardy Boys.
Yeah, those were.
Go ahead, son.
Yep. Kenny Dunn says.
Yeah, both of those.
Oh. I'm trying to be quiet and let y'all talk, but then it gets all quiet and I got to start talking again. Go ahead, son. What was you going to say?
No, both of those were on my short list as well. Hardy Boys, Edge, for sure. It was hard to pick one, to be quite honest.
It really was, because there's been a lot of good returns through the years. Kenny Dunn says Triple H has returned from surgery in 2002. That was great.
Mm-hmm. That Hardy Boys, that was the loudest pop I've ever been in a live audience. I was at that WrestleMania, and it was plumb crazy.
I just
wow.
I just found out that it is Mike doing the nasal shit because I just muted him and I don't hear it anymore.
What about Bret Hart coming back to the WWE after all those years being gone and having that face off with Shawn
Wait,
Michaels?
you got to say your piece. Let these Ramblers say their piece, and then we can
I don't think they've said it yet.
We're getting there. I had tried to get Mike Loving to quit breathing through his damn eyeballs. Kenny Dunn says Legion of Doom, WrestleMania 14. Oh, here you go. Here's a good one. Sean Bowman, good friend of mine, says Sting's return in 1990 after a knee injury versus Flair and the Horsemen.
All right, say that's old school too. Heck, that's a lot longer than mine.
Yeah, but it's Sting. Shut up.
Oh
Tom.
my God!
It made a lot more sense too.
Well,
I don't need a tag team partner, Mike. Shut up. I can be mean all by myself. Kenny Dunn says there's a reason they call it the Road Warrior Pop. You ain't wrong, old buddy.
That's right.
Jeremy says Hardy Boys return to the WWE. Also says Edge's return last year. Here's one that hasn't been mentioned yet. Jeremy's going off over. He says Steve Austin's return from a broken frickin' neck.
Yeah.
I don't know if Stone Cold would have got as big as quick as he did if he didn't have the broken neck. Because whenever he was trying to kick everybody's ass and he was legitimately healing up, and Vince was like, "No, he did not be doing all this," and obviously it was a work, but still, I think that's kind of what made him blow up as quick as he did.
Mm-hmm.
We got some Yankees fans in here, Kenny, and Sean is a Red Sox fan. Kenny Dunn says, "Go figure." JCC picks HBK. You damn right I do.
I didn't say. It's day ends with a Y.
I'm just a sexy boy, Kenny. That's all there is to it. I ain't no boy toy.
That used Rogaine over the week, it looks like, but yeah.
Linda says Edge. The Commonwealth Kingpin has arrived. John Covey Cole. Whatever you say, pal. All right, John. Now I'll let you have the floor. You said Bret Hart win?
When Bret Hart came back after that decade of being gone, and he confronted Shawn Michaels on Raw, and they had that moment, which led, of course, to the WrestleMania match. I mean, that was just – I remember, I was in my early 20s at that point still, but it was such a big moment just to see him come back because – Lord knows nobody thought Bret Hart would ever come back to the WWE. And he was one of my all-time favorites, of course. And it was such a special moment to see him and Shawn kind of finally squash it in front of everybody. And it was just – it's one of my favorite wrestling moments, I think, of all time. Probably my top 10 favorite moments.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me? Shake your head yes if you can hear me. Okay, I got you muted. When you want to speak, raise your hand because I'm tired of you nostriling all up in the damn – microphone. I thought I breathed heavy.
This week's topic is sponsored by nasal strips. Brief right nasal strips, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to get the road so you don't sound like Michael Loving.
Mike.
Hey, John, I got one that we did not remember, actually. It was Hulk Hogan's return when he turned on the WCW and joined the NWO. That was the most controversial return ever.
That was big. It was huge. And I still wonder to this day if Bobby Heenan was just getting his own shit in or if he was just, working. Because, he used to always come at the good guys acting like they were doing something bad.
He was getting his own shit in. Eric Bischoff has confirmed that he was not told to say that he did that on his own.
But he knew that's what was happening? That's what I'm asking.
He did not know what was happening. He just said that.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. If he would have known about it and said that was a dick move. But if he didn't know about it, then, that's just Bobby Heenan being Bobby Heenan.
Yep. Because he would always get on Hogan all the time anyways, no matter what. He was always healing it up on Hogan. But Eric Bischoff said it multiple times, because I always listen to 83 Weeks, that that was not planned. That was Bobby off the cuff, and none of them knew. None of them were privy to it. Shivani, Dusty, none of them that was on commentary were privy to that.
That's what makes wrestling so great. I used to do
Yep.
commentary for a company here in West Virginia, and I would never watch the matches before I would commentate on them. Now, mind you, there have been a couple times that I'd have to pause it throughout the match and get my shit together because some of it was really hard to watch. But
Yeah.
but I would try to put it over as much as I could, and I liked not knowing what was going to happen. At the end of the day, even though I've been in the wrestling business for a few years, at the end of the day, I'm just a fan, man. I want to be worked. Anytime they can work me, I'm tickled to death.
Yep.
You should
Yep.
try to edit that junk.
Oh, I can imagine, Tommy. I can imagine.
I edited and sent it to him, let him do the commentary. I was, oh Lord,
I actually,
it's like, I'm sorry.
I found one of those DVDs the other day, and
Oh, did you?
yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh,
No,
my-
I ain't gonna watch it again.
No. I had to watch the matches like 4 or 5 times over, make sure everything was right, and I was like, I didn't even want to watch it live when I was filming it. So I don't,
Oh,
Jeremy
was
Robinson,
horrible.
I got to touch on my buddy here. He said WVU just blew a great chance to beat Baylor in overtime. Jeremy,
Yeah,
I
I
hate
was-
to say it, but that's West Virginia sports in a nutshell, man. It's It's sad. Jason
They played
Heiser
them tough,
says
though.
when Piper came to WCW and confronted Hogan, that was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah,
was-
for sure.
Yeah.
The Royal Ramble is sponsored by Afrin. Thanks for that, Kenny Dunn also says that Owen Hart's returned from a huge fall. Wait, oh, what a dick. What a dick.
Oh, man.
All right, Kenny.
Oh.
I think you did this last week. You're making my heel work look mediocre over
Oh.
here, man.
Oh,
I
I'm
should've
surprised
read
he
the
didn't
comment.
say when.
I should have read the comment before I put it on the screen. Whoops.
I'm surprised he didn't say Benoit was just hanging around while that was happening too. But
Oh.
A couple more that I have on my list that was not mentioned. Christian, coming back in the Royal Rumble. That was a surprise for me. I thought he was done. Now, part of me was like, Christian's going to come back now that Edges is back. Christian's going to do something, but they caught me off guard. Daniel Bryan returning after being having to retire. That was huge. I also have Bret Hart on here. And I also have Brock Lesnar on here. But this one almost made my number one pick just because the total surprise of him returning to professional wrestling. And that is Brutus the Barber Beefcake. When he had that accident with the parasailing, and then he come back to wrestling, I mean, that was just, I was like, what? Wait a minute.
Yes. That also happened around 93.
Okay, Tommy, thanks for the years, buddy. Go ahead and date yourself some more.
Marty Jannetty, after he got kicked by Shawn Michaels in the barbershop, that was also another good return.
Marty Jannetty, who's that?
The guy asked me where you could get beer while I was in Charleston that time.
He must have got desperate.
Yeah, he was.
Jeremy says JCC talking about finding a DVD, and I keep thinking of the China spoof, One Night in Cubby Hole. I've never seen that one.
Wow. I
Hey,
forgot about that.
Big Cliff is here for the Wang. You're in the right spot, Ben. He says Triple J's return after he busted his ACL. I think it was when he came back months early and he was immaculate shape. That's my pick.
Who's Triple J?
I think he meant Triple H.
Jamming Jeff Jarrett.
That was one of Jeff Jarrett's gimmick down in Memphis. He was jamming Jeff Jarrett is what they call him.
Come on, Ben Cliff.
That's right.
Everybody's got a typo every now and again. It's okay.
Put down the fish and chips and start typing, buddy. You're all
Michael
right.
Mann says, "Oh God, Mike Loving is in here. I'm going back to college basketball. See you next week, guys." Good Lord, Loving, see what you done? Damn it!
I thought you got the wrong mic. Supposed to be the guy last week. You bring Lovin.
Kenny says, "Jake the Snake's AEW return. That was a good one."
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was good. That's probably the best promo out of the whole bunch.
Sean Bowman says, "Ric Flair returns after plane crash and broke his back in another good return." Yeah.
Yep.
75.
Oh, look at Tommy with the dates over there. Get on my damn
It's
nerves.
all those old ones he remembers. He can't remember no new ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Ben Cliff also says Cena's return at the Rumble. That's accurate, my friend.